I would like to show you how to get up and start on a shorter eFoil. This is the GetFOIL Foil X 4-foot 8-inch board. It is also the cyberdeck shape, the more angular design, which looks super awesome, but it's not the most forgiving in the water because the angular edges tend to catch and push the board in directions that are not as forgiving. So here we go. And not only that, I'm holding a selfie stick, so I will not have my hands as free to push on the board or to help myself get up. So consider that as you're watching, whether you are using a video stick or not. All right, here we go. So any eFoil, you want to start with the nose just above the surface. And then once you get some momentum, your face is going to be directly over the nose, regardless of size. To make sure that the nose is only an inch or two above the water, and it's not submerging and nose diving either. So here, it's a little too high, not too bad. Some of the reasons it's harder to get up on a shorter board is because you don't have as much nose out in front of you to let you know how high it is above the water. And it's less buoyant, but for me, the most challenging thing is you have less real estate to stand on. So I like to put my weight on my elbows, keeping the nose just an inch above the water, and then I shimmy my knees up. And it's kind of like riding a bike. The slower you're going, the more wobbly it's going to be, the less stability that you have. So once you get a little bit momentum going, then it's going to be easier to keep the board stable, especially if you're a bigger person. And you don't want the nose to nosedive too long, because if the perimeters of the hatch are completely submerged with water, it's going to cut the Bluetooth connection and you won't be able to control the board and you'll have to start over. So keep that in mind. Keep the hinge line above the water. All right, so we're gonna add a bit more speed. You can look behind you. Make sure your back foot is roughly where you want it to be. Your back foot, you want it to be toe side heavy of the center line. And then your front foot is gonna be heel side heavy of the center line. So I like to put my free hand down with the selfie stick, bring my front foot up. I need more momentum. As you see, I'm getting wobbly. So my foot's gonna be partially on the pad and partially on the deck. If you need to, you can put your foot completely on the deck if it starts going nose high. So again, you can see the nose is only an inch or two above the water, and then you're going to drive through your front leg enough to make sure that it's not going to go nose high. Because once it goes nose high, the wing is also going nose high, and then it's going to stall out. When you're foiling, the water across the wing creates lift in the same way that an airplane creates lift. But unlike an airplane, we're not going from ground to air. We're simply changing elevation anytime you're foiling, whether you're already flying or you're trying to elevate above the water. So that's something to keep in mind. You don't need to take off nose high and then level out like an airplane would when it's taking off. Because your airplane in the water, your hydrofoil, is just going from water to water. It's simply just changing elevation. It doesn't need to go nose high. So you're going to pick up speed. Again, making sure that the nose is only an inch or two above the water. You're going to have to really drive through that front leg like you're going to do a lunge or tackle someone. And then it's going to lift off. That was a little bit nose high. So if it starts going nose high, you're going to have to drive even harder through the front leg, or let off the acceleration, or go back down to the surface. We got some really nasty debris in here. We're going to go a little further ahead until there's no more debris. But one thing that's great about an eFoil is you have extra height for you to look out ahead for any debris. But if you have debris in the water, you want to keep the foil midway, just a little, not really high and not low. You just want to keep it like 4 inches to 6 inches above the water. Because if you do hit a piece of debris, you're going to be knocked off course. And if you're too high, you could get some small debris stuck in any kind of potential cooling ports on your eFoil if you have a different style of eFoil. Alright, we have clear water ahead. So let's try that again. Touch down. And then we're going to speed up again. And you might have noticed I shifted my entire weight forward. So get it planing on the water. Because of that abrupt 3-stage rocker, it's going to take a lot of force to get it to rock onto its fulcrum. And I'll show that on dry ground on my living room floor in a moment. So here it's totally planing on the water. You see that? The water is sloshing right at the corner edges of the hip. And then all I have to do is just simply release a little bit of pressure off my front leg. But right now, my front foot is far too heavy. And my entire stance is too much in the front. If I were to breach, I'd probably go out the front and nosedive. So in order to shift your front foot back, you can do one of two things. You can either just wobble it like this, kind of like vibrating your feet, just a wobble so it's never fully leaving the pad. Or if you'd prefer to lift your foot and drag it, then you want to push down first. Let me show you again here. Get further forward on the pad. So what you want to do is you want to push and then lift. Barely lift your foot and then pull it back a little bit. So you want to push, drag. So it relieves a little bit of pressure, especially if you're wearing shoes like I am. If you're barefoot, then you won't have as much grip on your feet and you'll be able to slip and slide your feet better across the grip pad. But I like the better grip from the shoes and the protection that shoes offer, so I prefer to wear the shoes. So again, you want to push and then drag. Okay? So I use a combination of wobbling my feet, vibrating my feet, and pushing, lifting, and dragging. There you go. That's how you get up on a shorter board. Live life to the fullest. Woohoo! Riding in super smooth, glassy water, and you feel like you're losing yourself, and you got this trippy sensation like you're in a house of mirrors, definitely check out my video about advanced touch and goes to help you build a better, confident relationship with the length of your mast, to better feel out how high you are above the smooth, glassy water.